Boo, everybody, and welcome back to the HabWrap. We are, back after we did miss the last game. After last game, unfortunately, I actually had a bit of a stomach bug. I still took my notes. I still took my usual notes during the game against the Dallas Stars. However, I had a bit of a stomach bug, sort of, really. It was more just like a stomach ache. And I could not talk, really, about the game because of that. I could barely sit in my chair. And, so unfortunately, we did not come up to recap that game, but we are back to talk about this game, the game against the Boston Bruins. Of course, it's a Saturday night in the Bell Center. The Boston Bruins are in town. This is always a fun game. Well, most of the time, it's a very fun game. And, so we're going to talk about that. However, just to give some very, very quick notes about the Stars game. Complete lack of effort after the first period. Dobesh had a few he probably wanted back. Where the hell was everybody? And, of course, probably the biggest thing coming out of that game, Alex Newhook is out for, I believe it's 3 to 4 months with some type of leg injury. He had surgery on it after the game against Dallas, and he's out for 3 to 4 months. And Gouli, I believe they said, is 8 to 12 weeks after he had surgery as well. So, the Canadiens' rough slump is going to continue. Don't fall into the trap of, the Canadiens, they're going to rebound from this. No, they are not. Unless they completely sell the future, this isn't what I want them to do, but unless they sell the future, get Crosby, go out and overpay for a top pairing defenseman to replace Caden Gouli so you can take Jaden Struble out of the lineup, there's no way that you're going to overcome this rough slump. It's going to be a rough couple of months until Caden Gouli comes back, and then it's waiting for Newhook. And Laine, who cares at that point? He's fourth line fodder anyways. But so let's get into the game against the Bruins because we've got some things to talk about. So, of course, this is a game in Montreal. It's not in Boston. It's in the Bell Center because that's where every game for Montreal, quite frankly, should be. It's funny, the past few nights, including the game against Dallas, I got a good night's sleep, wasn't yawning as much, so naturally I got like 7 hours today instead of my usual 8. So, the opening lines for the Canadiens were Caulfield, Suzuki, Slavkovsky, Demidov, Kapanen, Doc, Bolduc, Evans, and Anderson, and Davidson, Veleno, Gallagher. That's right, so with Newhook being out of the lineup, and with Boston being in town, we don't call up Florian Xhekaj, who could fill in good on that fourth line. You call up Jared Davidson, who actually ended up having a pretty good game, I think, in his limited ice time. He had a very solid game. But just looking back, ideally you probably do want Florian in the lineup, especially with how some things ended up going. On the blue line, it was Matheson, Dobson, Struble, Hudson, and Xhekaj Carrier. So again, not much is changing. They're just trying to get chemistry going. So, Kapanen, I believe, has gotten a boost, actually, to the fourth line, and Davidson, who is a center, for some reason is playing the wing. I get Veleno is also a center, but just weird you would move Veleno from his position on the wing to center to give him more responsibility, but alright. Sam Montembeault, of course, will get the start between the pipes, and Jakub Dobesh backs him up after a horrible last game. He had something like a 616 save percentage, or a 600 save percentage. It was bad. The opening lines for the Bruins were Geeky, Kuznetsov, Pastrnak, Steves, Zaka, Arvidsson, Jeannot, Mitten, Kastelik, and Viel, Corrali, Isimon. I actually didn't see Jeffrey Viel on the ice all that much for the Bruins, so I don't know if they played him in a very limited role tonight. They did. He got under 6 minutes of ice time, actually, so he did play tonight. He just very limited in the situations he played. But Viel, Corrali, Isimon was the fourth line. So very gritty bottom six for the Bruins, except for Fraser Mitten, who is just there because I guess they don't want to play him above Kuznetsov for some reason. Kuznetsov had a pretty noticeable game, actually. Zadorov, McAvoy, Lindholm, Peak, and Lohrei. Hey. And Lohrei, Asparov were on the blue line for the Bruins. Jeremy Swayman, of course, will get the start for the Bruins. And Jonas Korpisalo backs him up, as I'm sure he's very used to doing at this point. Before the game, the really only the things of note were just really the new hook injury, calling up Jared Davidson, and that's basically it. So, right into the game. Off the draw, holy shit, here we go. Struble and Zadorov. Apparently there were conversations in warm-ups, and right off the draw, it takes 2-3 seconds. They both drop the gloves. Both guys got some shots in. Zadorov eventually pops Struble's helmet. Both guys end up against the boards, and the refs just break it up. A very solid fight. Of course, both men called 5 for fighting. I would give the edge to Zadorov in that one, but then again, he has, 3 inches and 30, 35 pounds on Struble. Struble held his own, though, in this fight for sure. Zaka has sorry, I had to take a sip of my wood here real quick. Zaka has a good shot stopped by Montembeault. The Bruins' top line has a rush after a turnover. There's a wide open net. He gets his own rebound, was Pasternak, and it's wide of the net. But the Habs go to a penalty kill. Caulfield's called for a hook on Pasternak moments earlier. Would have liked him to get a hit off right when Pasternak was passing the puck along the boards initially. But yeah, he gets called for a hook on Pasternak because he can't really cover him that well at that time. So yeah, the Habs go to a penalty kill. I think, what was that? Not even 3 minutes into the game. Minute 5. Not even, barely a minute into the game. Holy shit, I forgot how fast paced this game kind of was. The Habs with some clears early. Habs have good D to prevent a Pasternak shot that forces him to pass. Suzuki gets a shorthanded rush, but that ends up going off the post, actually. Habs clear again. We are 1 for 1 on the penalty kill tonight. Then you get some big hits. Bolduc hits Jeannot at the benches. Gallagher hits Fraser Mitten, and here we go. Jackeye hits, Jeannot actually hits Jackeye, and they both drop the gloves. 2 fights in the first 5 minutes of the game. Jeannot knocks down Jackeye with 3 punches. I don't know what's happening, but ever since Jackeye has focused more on his defensive game, which he's been pretty solid at so far, Jackeye just can't fight. This season, he's lost both his fights very decisively, and I don't know what's going on. He's been great at fighting the past couple seasons. I don't know if it's a case where he either focuses on his D or his fights, which if that's the case, obviously I'd rather him focus on his defense. But shit. When Struble comes out for goalie in a couple weeks, who's going to be the resident fighter? That can't be Josh Anderson, that's for damn sure. But, hey, you know what? That's probably a good problem to have, is good defensive depth, so. Yeah. The fourth line presses Jared Davidson, who, by the way, was actually making his NHL debut tonight. I think I just keep forgetting that the preseason games don't count as NHL games. So Davidson, he actually did take the pregame skate with the helmet off, as most rookies do. That's always pretty cool. He gets 2 good looks on a shift. Both teams laying the body. There's a couple clears. Bruins end up icing it 6 minutes in. And the Habs go to a power play shortly after. It's a holding the stick call against, I believe it was Hampus Lindholm. Habs are going to want to score here. The Bruins clear immediately. Habs can't get in. They were just trying to rush. Asparov has a big hit on Gallagher along the boards late in the power play. Bruins send it down. That does it. The Habs are 0 for 1 on the power play tonight. There's a mitten shot held by Monty. Dobson with a big shove on him, and we get a scrum. Everyone's right in there. No fights, though, unfortunately, but we do get a few penalties. It's Josh Anderson and Fraser Mitten actually called for roughing each other up. They get called. And the Bruins scored during the 4-on-4. I'm pretty sure it was 4-on-4. Merit Kuznetsov gets one. He scores off of a Pasternak pass. Good fake there, as both Montembeault and the defenseman bit way too much there, especially the defenseman. I get one defenseman going over to Pastrnak because it's Pastrnak, but both defensemen start to rush over before he passes to Kuznetsov, and it actually looks like the shot hits Montembeault and goes in. It was going to go in either way because it was in the middle of the net where it hit Montembeault, but it looks like it actually hit Monty and went in still. So I don't know if that was technically a shot, save, then the shot that goes in, or if that's just considered a shot in. But yeah, Kuznetsov makes it 1-0. That sucks. You got to play better defense there. Hudson goes off the post about a minute later. That's actually a solid chance. Pasta gets on a break, and a really good stick by Mike Matheson to break that up. Habs go to a penalty kill shortly after. Dobson's called for a slash, and that sucks. Bruins press. There's some passing. Monty makes some saves. Habs get shorthanded 2-on-1. Evans and Matheson, they end up taking away the pass. Evans shoots. He scores a 1-1 tie game with 7:47 left. Really good shot. He gets that top shelf. Evans with his third of the year. I believe his second shorthanded goal of the year. He gets that from Josh Anderson with the lone assist. Veleno has a good clear with seconds left, and the Habs are 2 for 2 on the penalty kills. So the Canadiens, they go down on a 4-on-4. They score a shorthanded goal to tie it. Things are looking good for the Canadiens. Hoping that they can keep it. We'll see if they can get themselves a lead now. There's a turnover suddenly. Isamon has a shot, and Monty with a good hold on that one. Good read, I should say. Mitten hits Struble. I believe that was along the benches. And then along the boards on the other side, Struble with a big hit on Jeannot moments later. Carrier has a good hit. Jack ends up icing a puck moments later, trying to get a far side connection. And the Habs end up going to a power play shortly after. It's Mark Kastelik. He's called 2 for roughing. He wanted Josh Anderson to drop the gloves. Kastelik would drop them. Andy didn't pull one of those, let's drop him. Kastelik drops him, and he says, I don't want to fight. But it's just one of those. Kastelik wants to fight. Andy says no. Kastelik still drops them, holds on to Andy, and admittedly, I wanted Anderson to drop the gloves just because it would have been cool. 3 fights in the first period. You do not see that very often at all. But I understand why he didn't. He draws the power play. It ends up being good. But it's a Saturday night in the Bell Center against the Boston Bruins. You'll want Andy to drop the gloves there and completely drop Kastelik like he would have. But alas, the Habs are on a power play. And not just that. It's a 5-on-3, about 32 seconds in. It's a 5-on-3 for 1:28 total. A clear trip by Nikita Zadorov on Cole Caulfield. Almost a knee-on-knee. Thankfully, it wasn't. I just said we need to score here. The Habs need a goal on the 5-on-3, or at least the 5-on-4 after the 5-on-3. Need to just get a goal in general. It'd be nice to go into the second with a lead. Habs set up. Caulfield doesn't look, but a good stop by Swayman. Bruins end up clearing because a shot rebound just hops over a stick. So it's not even a Bruins actual clear. It's just the Habs not able to pass properly. Habs set up, but they just get nothing on the 5-on-3 and the 5-on-4 after that Caulfield chance. Habs are 0 for 3 on the power play. McAvoy then has a huge hit on Slavkovsky. Slav goes after McAvoy with a couple little cross checks. He gets then right back to offense behind the net. He centers to Doc, but the shot, I couldn't tell if it was wide or Swayman got a piece of it, but either way, you really want Doc to put that home, not just because it gives the Canadiens a goal, but it's always nice seeing Kirby Doc score some goals. Habs try to press in the last minute, but nothing there. It's a tie game, 1-1. These shots are 10-7 for the Bruins as well. In the second period, Demidov gets hit from behind twice in the opening minute. Bruins ice a puck a minute 20 in. Geeky gets on a break. Monty with a good save. He keeps the game tied. He just waits Geeky out. Geeky, who I'm pretty sure still is top 2 in the NHL in goals since January 1st of this year. I think he has, 33, 34 goals since January 1st? It's something crazy like that. I think he's only behind his teammate, David Pastrnak. I'm pretty sure. Crazy that he's still scoring into this year. And you know what? Good for him. I like Morgan Geeky. And spoiler, but hey, he didn't score tonight, so I got no beef with him, really. And as I say that, the Bruins score 2 minutes in exactly. They get a few chances, and Lowry ends up making it 2-1. He gets the goal. Oh, sorry, I should say, on the Bruins' first goal, I'm not used to give me one game off and I completely fall apart. Kuznetsov scored the first goal from Pastrnak and Zadorov. Mason Lowry gets this one. It's a long-range shot from the blue line. Josh Anderson, it looks like he tries to block the shot, but he doesn't. He does one of those just stand straight up type deals, and yeah, he just ends up kind of screening the shot so Monty can't see it all the way. It ends up getting through him. Lowry gets his second of the year from Kastelik and Jeannot. Jeannot, who is actually not looking like a completely god-awful signing this year. He's got 7 assists so far, so you know what? Hey, good for him. Good for him. He should be playing up to his contract, and you know what? It's good to see when guys do, because it means a lockout very likely is not going to happen. So, Bruins with a weird dump in. Bruins for some reason dump the puck in. No, Bruins have a dump in. It takes a weird bounce off the glass right to neutral. Thankfully, no Bruins there. The Habs do come away with it. That almost would have been scary. You don't see weird bounces like that very often at the Bell Center. The shots were 4-0 Bruins 6 minutes in. The Habs have gotten literally nothing. Offensively, I should say, because Anderson has a big hit at the Habs bench. Evans rushes. There's a puck that gets down to Carrier, and that is gloved. Jacki has a shot, and we get a crowd. 3 Bruins immediately take him down. Anderson comes right in to defend him. Everybody gets involved. Bit of a scrum, some talking. Probably inviting guys over for a Thanksgiving dinner, but alas, we don't get any answers as to if they are invited or not. Someone should ask those guys. Habs' fourth line gets some looks. Swayman has a big stop off of a Hudson slapper. The rebound, Davidson ends up getting a chance. That's stopped with the pad. And the Habs go to a power play. Doc draws a hold from Mitten. He looks like he was going to pass back to Hudson at the line. As he's crossing across the line, it looks like he's going to pass to Hudson, but he keeps it. Mitten loses his stick, and he just holds Doc, and that's a pretty obvious call. And it's a 5-on-3, no less, for 1:50. McAvoy's called for a slash on Slafkovsky. McAvoy was really going after Slafkovsky tonight. It makes you think about what's going to happen later, and if that was karma or not, but McAvoy's called for the slash. Habs have pressure, but they are static. They have puck control, but nobody's really moving at this point. It wouldn't be until a later power play where they actually start moving. Hudson has a shot wide. There's a couple bobbles, but they do get the puck. There's a shot covered with 14 seconds left from Hudson on the 5-on-3. The Habs are not 0 for 4, actually. They are 0 for 5 on the power play tonight. Absolutely unacceptable to not score a single goal. Barely get any shots on the power play tonight. I'm going to hold off for a little while. Habs end up actually going right back to a power play. Lindholm's called for an interference, and this is where I start to notice, and I think this is when it happened, Dobson's out there for Lane Hudson instead. Hudson was getting shifted with the second unit. I don't know if they just saw good chemistry with Hudson and Doc for the few seconds they were on the ice together, and they wanted to try that out, but Dobson's on the top unit, and you know what? I kind of get it. Dobson's been pretty good for the most part this season, so why not reward him with a little bit of power play time? Habs just can't get much. Caulfield has a shot. The rebound finds Demidov. He doesn't shoot. He passes to Dobson, and holy hell. McAvoy trying to block a shot off the Dobson slapper. I believe it rides up a stick, and it hits him right in the jaw. Right in the jaw of McAvoy. He goes down, blood on the ice. Takes him a minute to get up off the ice. Towel is placed right on his jaw. He would not come back for the game. Very understandably so, I think. And, Canadiens take out the Bruins' top defenseman inadvertently or purposefully, whenever it is. It should lead to momentum for the Canadiens. Of course, not best of luck to McAvoy. What the hell am I saying? Hopefully he recovers well, and please don't come back for the Bruins next game, McAvoy. Holy shit, take some time off. Make sure that fucking jaw heals up because holy shit, that genuinely looked very scary for a bit. Thankfully, he did get up, and he again would not come back for the rest of the game. He's probably out for a while, and it would not surprise me if he is out for a while that either the Bruins completely rally around him and end up winning 6 of the next 7, or because McAvoy's their only good defenseman, they completely falter and go 1-8-2 in their next 10, 11, something like that. So we'll see how the Bruins do without one of their best players, their best defenseman. The Bruins do clear after a bad Habs pass. The Habs are now 0 for 6 on the power play tonight. Montreal has to score with the Bruins' only good defenseman out of the game, right? Like, they have to get something. Pastrnak gets found on a breakaway, a good stick, and Monty pad against the post to end up stopping that. Monty didn't make the save, but he gets his pad against the post as Pastrnak was able to gather his own rebound. So, yeah, I think it was Matheson, actually, who had the stick there. Matheson was pretty good at blocking Pastrnak chances tonight. He had a good game, despite the 2 assists from Pastrnak tonight. Canadiens look depressed. Evans has a hard hit at the benches, not enough to knock him in, but just it's one of those, just the back right against the benching. I don't know what you call that, but the back right against the benching, and the Bruins dude looked like he had to look like, yeah, I'm gonna feel that in a couple of minutes. Jesus. That was a vicious hit. That comes right after a really good Kapanen chance to potentially tie the game up. Doc has a shot block. He was slow to get up, but he'd stay in the game, and Bruins would press, and the Habs end up going to a penalty kill. Shortly after, Slav accidentally shoots a puck at a ref. He's trying to dump it, but the ref gets in the way. It's a hook, I think, actually on Slavkovsky as well, that ends up getting called. It's a hook on Slav from, he hooks Nikita Zadorov. You gotta think it's probably the official just getting back at him for accidentally shooting the puck at the ref. And the Bruins score. Andy tries to clear a puck, but he can't at the blue line. Bruins end up setting up as a result, and about 20 seconds later, everyone loses their man for some reason. Victor Arvidsson right in the slot. He's wide open, and he just gets it. He gets his 6th of the year, making it 3-1 Boston late in the second period. He scores from Zacha and Pastrnak, who Pastrnak already has his 15th assist of the year. He's had a very solid start to his year. It's 3-1 Boston with 3 minutes left in the second period. Canadiens have 1 goal at this point. It is not looking like it's going to be a nice next little while against legitimate potential playoff teams after Columbus, of course. So it's 3-1 Bruins. The Habs are 1 for 2 on the penalty kill tonight. Habs press. Gallagher has a tip shot on Swayman. Peak ends up wanting him. Gallagher with some face washing, and we'll go 4-4. It is, I believe, Gallagher and Peak. Yes, it is. Both called for roughing each other up. Sorry, just getting my timer back up so I can see that my mic is still working. Bruins press. Pasta has a chance, but there's some good Canadiens defense. And we score, surprisingly. With 1:15 left, Cole Caulfield gets found on a sort of a break. Really, really good chance there. He just ends up going forehand, backhand, puts it over the pad of Swayman, who's kind of trying to dive out and make the save. He scores from Suzuki and Struble, so number 13 with his number 13 on the year. Suzuki, he's back to scoring, even though he is unfortunately clearly hurt. He's not even practicing with the team right now. He's getting a ton of therapy days off, so hopefully it's one of those that, he's not re-aggravating over and over by continuing to play, and it's one of those where it's just, hey, there's nothing you can do. Over time, over the next couple weeks, it'll just heal itself, almost like when you have like a fractured tongue, nothing you can really do. Just try not to bite your fucking tongue for a few weeks. Hopefully it's one of those types of cases. Habs try to tie it in the last minute, but Bruins in the last seconds. Mitten ends up hitting Dobson in the Habs zone, and that does it. The shots are 19-17 for the Canadiens, but a 3-2 lead for the Bruins after the second period. So not horrible, but Canadiens definitely could be better. Such as Steves, to start the third period, gets on a near 2-on-1. He's hooked by Doc, and that's a penalty. 44 seconds in. Kirby Doc is called for the hook on Alex Steves. Monty has a stop on Arvidsson 7 seconds in on the one-timer at the left circle. Anderson has a shorthanded look. He has speed, so naturally he goes for a spin during a one-on-one, and he gets the puck poked away. Dobson has a good clear using the boards behind Montembeault. There's a good shorthanded burst for Evans and Suzuki. Suzuki tries the pass and just... Damn it. The Habs are 3 for 4 on the penalty kill tonight, though. I don't know why I put 1 for 2 earlier. At that point, they were, I believe, 2 for 3. I'm genuinely trying to see 1, 2... 3. So, the Canadiens at this point were 3 for 4 on the penalty kill. I don't know how I got that confused earlier. Canadiens with good puck control, they just can't get any shots. Evans ends up having a chance. They try a pass to Doc, and the Habs end up going to a power play at 4:23. Zadorov's called for a delay of game for puck over the glass. That's right after a Hudson slapper had gotten blocked. Habs have pressure. Dobson has a shot that's blocked. That's nearly cleared, but he actually holds it at the line. Suzuki has a chance with a wide open net, and it's just off the side of the net. The Canadiens need to score, and they just can't. Suzuki has a shot, easily stopped by Swayman with the second unit. Suzuki is getting double shifted at this point, especially with Newhook being out. I would try Davidson there. I thought Davidson deserved a little bit of power play time. He only got 7-8 minutes of ice time tonight. I thought he played well. There's good passing to Doc, but the shot is just wide. The Habs 0 for 7 on the power play tonight. And I'm sorry. Just completely unacceptable. I don't know if it's Marty running the power play. I don't know if we secretly fucking rehired Alex Burrows to run the power play. I don't know if we have someone who just runs a power play exactly the way Alex Burrows was. I don't know if Mike Matheson put on Noah Dobson's fucking jersey and started running the first power play unit instead. But my God, the power play tonight was so god-awful. The shots we'd get were so easy. Slavkovsky at one point was taken off the first unit, I'm pretty sure. Just the Canadiens had nobody in front. Even, I think Slav wasn't even on the second unit at points, I don't think. But if he was, they had fucking Bolduc parked in front of the net for some reason. I don't get what this Canadiens power play is doing. I was watching the Tampa and Florida game earlier today before the Canadiens played, because they had an early start time for some reason. I think it was a 5 start. Yeah, it had to have been, because the third was starting as the Canadiens were... The third was starting in that game at the time the Canadiens were starting their game in general. And you look at Florida's power play. You look at Colorado's power play. To an extent, you look at Edmonton's power play. You look at some of the better teams in the league. And what are they doing? They're constantly moving. Lane Hudson has not been doing that this year. He's getting pressured a lot easier, I've noticed that. And especially when he was taking off that first unit, you can tell without Hudson there's just nothing. Demidov and Hudson had connection on the first unit, and now it seems like teams know how to cut off the pass to each other. Suzuki's been good. He's moving around. Him and Caulfield are still exchanging places, but that's not even what I mean. They're not moving. They're not engaging. They're not, Caulfield's in the left circle and Demidov's in the right circle. That's what you know is going to happen. And even if it's not, okay, well, Suzuki's going to be in the left circle. Caulfield's going to be up front beside the net, where Suzuki usually is. Hudson's going to be at the blue line, and you might have... it used to be Bolduc, but you might have Slavkovsky there. You might have Slavkovsky on the other side of the net. The power play is incredibly stable, and I don't get why. With this amount of talent, you should tell the guys, hey, do this, try to get the puck to Cole, but move around. If you see a guy who's open, if you think you can get a good shot, go for it. I don't get what's going on with the power play. 5-on-5 is one thing, but the power play recently has been absolutely atrocious. I don't get how this power play is still 5th in the NHL. It's probably dropped to 7th or 8th, right? I would assume after going fucking 0 for 7 on the power play tonight. But you would think it's gotta drop, or the Canadiens power play has to start working again soon. They cannot go much longer with with just this static, just standing still. Hudson controls everything from the blue line. He'll look for everybody because it's not working, and it's not going to work, unfortunately. If Hudson has to switch with Caulfield to the left circle, and then he skates around and goes back, finds Demidov, who skates into the slot maybe, and he finds Slavkovsky on the right side instead. Look for something. Play the game. Don't just pass to pass. They need to look for each other, and they need to be able to look in a creative manner. They need to work together in that creative manner to where Suzuki, his goal, last week, when he had the kind of spinorama backhand, almost no-looker to Slavkovsky. I'm not saying you need to be doing exactly stuff like that, but just know where the other guys are going to be. I get they're going to build the chemistry, but just work on it in practice if you can. Work on, hey, look, I'm going to be at the right circle. If I'm not, I'm going to be in the bumper. Just look, you'll see me, you'll know where I'm going to be at that point. They need to work. They need to work on this in practice, because the power play looks like shit. Regardless, the 5-on-5 scoring, okay, I mean, we scored a goal tonight. We have good penalty killing. We can play well on the penalty kill for the most part. Power play, what the hell? You needed to have 2 goals tonight. You had to have scored on both of the 5-on-3s, at the very least. What the hell happened tonight? This is a game the Canadiens, quite frankly, just did not deserve to win. If this team, I genuinely would have been pissed if the Canadiens still came in the last few minutes, they tie this game up, they win in overtime, for example. Sure, I'd be happy the Canadiens win. I'd still be pissed that we gave the Bruins a point. We should not have allowed this game to go to overtime. We shouldn't have allowed the Bruins to get a point. And quite frankly, with the result we did get, we shouldn't have allowed the Bruins to get the win. 0 for 7 on the power play. I don't get what the hell is going on to where we can score a shorthanded goal, score a 5-on-5 goal, and then go 0 for 7 on a power play with 2 5-on-3 attempts. I don't want to hear about how good Jeremy Swayman is. He played a great game tonight, yes. Jeremy Swayman should not be the answer. Getting a 5-on-3 should not be treated like it's a 5-on-0. Where, we didn't score because, we had 23 shots on the power play, but, Jeremy Swayman stopped all 23. That should not be the answer. We didn't have 23 shots on the power play, by the way. I think we might have had 7 if we were lucky. That should not be the answer, Jeremy Swayman stopped it. It should be the team couldn't score. The team was not good enough. And I get that this is a young team. They're going to learn. In 2 to 3 years, we're going to look back at this and say, wow, Harry actually was right. The team's learned. They're scoring left, right, and center. It feels like almost every power play they get, they're able to score. When this team is a cup contender, we're going to look back at this and say, wow, Harry was right, and they actually did adapt. They learned to move around on the power play, and they're actually a lethal power play now, not just because they're playing bad teams at the start of the year. I get that they're a young team, but that should not completely excuse how Dobson is placed on the first unit and almost nothing gets done still. Why Suzuki, as kind of the leader on that first unit, he is the captain, he's the leader on that power play for both units, really. Why he is the only one that's really trying. Why Brendan Gallagher on the second unit isn't going in front of the net, isn't trying to get those tip-ins. Brendan Gallagher has 0 goals on the year, I'm pretty sure. He has 7 assists. He's played an okay game since that come down of, 7 assists in the 9 games. He hasn't gotten an assist in a while. Or it was 6 assists in 9 games I think he had at one point. That doesn't excuse the fact that the Canadiens' power play is anemic. I'm pretty sure that's the right word I'm looking for. It is as bad as humanly possible tonight. this team just needed to get one goal on the power play. And that still wouldn't have been enough. But just one would have been like, okay, we scored at least one. We still do know how to score on the power play. I genuinely think we don't know how to shoot or score on the power play. All right, all right, rant's over. We're 35 minutes in. I gotta edit this. I gotta see if I can quickly add the new graphics I want to add. If not, those will be next game. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. What to do? Bruins press. Pasta has a chance to make it 4-2. He just dekes right by Struble. I mean, Struble tries to do what defensemen are doing to McDavid. What Heiskanen did to McDavid the other night, and just stand there, don't buy into his bullshit, and just tap the puck away from him. Potts just knows better than that. He just skates right by him. Monty makes a save. The rebound is up. It looks like it might go over Monty, but it actually ends up going the other way. Habs then go to a penalty kill. Struble's called for a high stick. That is a pointless penalty to take. He just hits Morgan Geekie in the face with a stick. It's not quite like that Lucas Dragicevic. I think it's Luke dragging these nuts or whatever the hell that piece of shit's name is in the OHL, who just got suspended for Marty McSorleying a fucking dude on the Oshawa Generals. Sorry, water break. It's not like that, but, just engaging in a stick battle, and he just, into the face, and it's a pointless penalty to take, and I think it's more than clear that Jaden Struble is the guy who's coming out of the lineup when Gooley comes back. I cannot see Arbor Jackeye right now being the guy who comes out. I think Jackeye had a very solid game tonight for the most part. Montembeault's a good stop on Arvidsson, left circle, one-timer, once again. Habs just couldn't get any clears. Matheson goes after a Bruin for whacking Monty 30 seconds in. For some reason, Evans and Geekie, Evans and Geekie are both called too for roughing. Bruins cycle. Zaka hits the post. Anderson finally manages to clear. The Habs are 4 for 5 on the penalty kill, so it's not like the penalty kill allowed all 3 goals tonight. They were very good, 4 for 5. I don't get why that just couldn't translate into good lucha things. Good lucha things, to quote Kalisto. If you guys couldn't tell, I'm a wrestling fan. We couldn't convert that into good power play things, and I don't get it. The Habs try to get something. They could barely enter the Bruins zone with like 8 minutes left. Sorry, that might have been a little loud, me hitting my desk. Fourth line presses. Doc ends up getting physical again as the Canadiens press. Just can't find the net. Canadiens cycle it. Slav takes a hit to get a pass to Caulfield. And then Matheson, I don't get how he's done this like 3 times this year, and he continues to do it. He tries to pinch. He does that thing where the puck is gliding to him at the line. He tries to press himself against the boards to get the puck to keep it in. And it just ends up hopping over his stick every fucking time he tries to do this. Merit Kuznetsov takes it. He strips it. He comes in. He speeds. Shoots it. It looks like he scores. The refs do call it no goal. Apparently it was off the post. On the replay they showed about to go to commercial, it looked like he scored. But surprisingly, they didn't call it back. The score wasn't 4-2 when they came back. It was a 3-2 game still, so it was off the post. Slavkovsky gets tripped with 3 minutes left. There's no call. Habs press. There's a shift by the top line. Demidov ends up bumping into Swayman, who loses his stick. Behind the net, I should say. Habs can't get a shot. This is just pathetic. Swayman losing his stick. The fans telling them to take a shot, and they just don't. They don't try to capitalize off the goalie with no stick, which is going to mess up how they're positioning, how they're going to handle the shot. They get nothing. There's a goalie pull 150. Swayman holds on to a slot shot. There's a timeout for Montreal at 144. Habs cycle in the slot. There's a slap shot that's stopped. Zadorov tries to clear. It's blocked. The second chance is just over the net. It gets iced with 45 seconds left. Zadorov does the same thing with 35 seconds left. That one's just naturally iced, not trying to shoot for the empty net, I believe. Habs win another draw. The Habs at this point just push. They throw everything they can at the net. It feels like in 15 seconds they get 4 chances. It feels like Demidov got a shot. Caulfield got a shot. Suzuki got a shot. I think Hudson got a shot. It might have been Slav. looking for tip shots. Nothing's getting by Swayman. There's a draw with 2.3 seconds left. They're trying to win it down to Demidov, but they don't. It's won by Boston. They win the game 3-2 in regulation. The final shots are 28 to 23. They actually took away a shot, 2 shots from Montreal and gave one to Boston. The final shots were 28 to 23 for the Montreal Canadiens. They lose this one in regulation 3-2. And my God, just an absolute joke of a game for the Canadiens. No clue how they didn't try. They tried in the last 2 minutes. Nothing on the power play. But I ranted about that already. We're already 40 minutes in, so we're going to get out of here. We're going to do the stats, of course. There would have been no need to do the stats last game, but this game, thankfully, there is reason to do the stats. So Nick Suzuki leads the Canadiens with 4 goals, 17 assists, 21 points. Cole Caulfield with 13 goals, 6 assists for 19 points. Lane Hudson with a goal, 13 assists for 14 points. Ivan Demidov with 4 goals, 9 assists, 13 points. Alex Newhook, who is unfortunately hurt, with 6 goals, 6 assists, 12 points. Noah Dobson with a goal and 10 assists for 11 points. Oliver Kapanen has 6 goals, 4 assists, 10 points. Juraj Slafkovsky's got 7 goals, 2 assists, 9 points. Mike Matheson, 3 goals, 6 assists, 9 points. Kirby Dach, 5 goals, 2 assists for 7 points. Brendan Gallagher's got 7 assists. Zach Bolduc's got 4 goals, 2 assists, 6 points. Alex Carrier with a goal, 5 assists for 6 points. Jake Evans, 3 goals, 2 assists, 5 points. Josh Anderson has the opposite of that with 2 goals, 3 assists for 5 points. Jaden Struble has 4 assists. Caden Gooley, who is unfortunately hurt, has a goal and an assist. Arbor Jacki and Patrick Laine, who is unfortunately hurt, each have an assist. Arbor Jacki leads the way with 3 fights on the year. Jaden Struble's got 2. Caden Gooley and Joe Veleno each have a fight this year as well. So yeah, that is going to do it for this episode of the HabWrap. Thank you all so much for watching. Please do not forget to like if you're on YouTube. Hit that follow and that heart button if you are on Spotify, Amazon, wherever the hell you might be listening to this. Hit the subscribe button as well if you're on YouTube. That's much greatly appreciated. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to share with your friends, your family, anyone who you think might like a Canadiens podcast, a hockey podcast, a sports podcast, even if they don't like hockey per se, but they're trying to get into it maybe. Share them the HabWrap. Much greatly appreciated. Thank you all again so much for watching. My name is Harry Race. Yeah, and always remember, no matter how good we are like last year, how good we are like this year, go Habs go, Adam Montreal, and say it with me everybody, C'est le but.